Welcome to the Happy Heretic, and in today's episode, we find out just how deep you go with your character's background.
Maim, kill, burn! Maim, kill, burn!
Hi folks, welcome to the latest episode of the Happy Heretic. Now, I was trolling Facebook in a 40K group, and I came across a quite an interesting post, actually, very, very long post. And it was essentially somebody who posted the background for the leader of their 40K army. I believe it was the Sisters of Battle army. And this was somebody who obviously took a great deal of time writing up the backstory for this character. I mean, it was a very long and involved backstory that covered the character's history from when she joined the order as an orphan to when she actually took over the order from her predecessor, who she saw as like a surrogate parent, who was killed in the line of duty by, I think, probably Chaos Scum. I really don't remember. I wish I did. It was a very, very involved background. Probably went on for the equivalent of a page or more, actually, and it fully fleshed out this character completely, and that kind of got me thinking. You know, it was something that was very, very cool. Obviously, it took a hell of a lot of work for this person to go out and flesh out that much detail for this character, and it got me thinking. You know, how many people out there do the same thing? You know, I will admit, I never really put much thought into my characters. I never really put much thought into my armies in general. I just kind of grabbed some stuff that looked cool, picked a paint scheme that looked cool. Like with my Iron Warriors, back when I was in high school. That was the army that I collected. It was a very infantry-heavy Chaos Space Marine army, very few vehicles aside from dreadnoughts. That was my main vehicle type in that army, because I love dreadnoughts. But that was really as far as it got. I never really thought too much about my characters. I never really thought too much about the army itself or why I chose it, other than the fact that it was easy to paint. Number one, it was a very easy paint scheme. You just spray paint black, dry brush on some silver, put some gold on the trim, and you're good to go. You get them on the table quick as possible, quick as you can. But yeah, no, I never really thought about the background a whole lot with that army, and it's one of those things where I kind of wish I did a little bit. You know, I kind of wish I did. I had thought about not necessarily the army itself, but who the characters were and that sort of thing. Because when you get right down to it, 40K and fantasy and any other war game at its core, it's a game about armies that are being led by characters. You know, they don't have to be named characters or anything like that. You know, if you don't have to have an army that is led by Typhus, the Herald of Nurgle, or by if insert Space Marine character's name here, Leman Russ, or probably not going to. Not going to be led by Leman Russ unless it's a 30K game or you're doing some weird time jumps or whatever. But you know, these armies are led by characters. These are whether they're named or not, the characters are the centerpieces of the army. You know, people do them up with these elaborate bases, and they put much more effort into their paint schemes generally than they do with just the bog standard troopers. You know, troopers, speed paint them, find 500 different tutorials on how to speed paint, you know, Space Marines and orcs and, you know, Tyranids, any type of armor you want. You find 10,000 different tutorials on how to speed paint the same paint scheme, all of them promising to bang out an army on the tabletop quicker than anyone else. But with the characters, we tend to take a little bit of time on those. We tend to, put in more love and attention, labor over the details a lot more. And I'm curious how many people that includes coming up with an actual background story for the characters. And it's okay. Believe me, it's okay if you don't do that sort of thing. I'm not saying that you should do a backstory for your characters or anything like that, because again, that's not something I do. I have dabbled as a writer in the past. I'm actually a very good writer. I write very, very well and very, very succinctly, I think is the word that I'm looking for, when I put my mind to it. But that's I have written for blogs in the past. I'm not going to say which blogs because they're all defunct now and offline, but I have written for blogs in the past, and it was something of a passion of mine for a number of years. But that was all current events stuff that I was writing, and there barely any fiction writing. I've done fiction writing in the past, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's one of those things, I can sit down and I can bang out a really good blog post in about an hour and a half, 2 hours if I really want to polish it up. I am quick as hell and sharp as a tack when it comes to that sort of thing. But if I sit down to write a story or something like that, good God Almighty, it takes me freaking ever. I think the last time I wrote a short story, it was like a 2-page short story that took me 2 months to write, and it was just all the descriptions, and it's just not something I like doing. I'm good at it. I can do it really, really well. I just don't like doing it. It takes forever. But so I'm not going to be, creating a big elaborate backstories for any of my characters in any army that I have anytime soon. I might, maybe write up something, pick out a name or something like that, maybe do a little bit of a history that kind of explains the gear choices that I made, and the troop choices that I made, and that sort of thing. But I'm not going to be writing 2 pages on the complete history of this character like this person I saw on Facebook. But more power to him for doing that, because I think that sort of thing adds a depth to the character, and it makes the character seem more real. Maybe not necessarily for your opponent, because your opponent probably isn't going to care a whole hell of a lot, what your army's general did when they were a small child back on, whatever planet number 4 in the solar system, and so on and so forth. They're not going to care. They're there to play a game. But for you, for the person creating this army, it takes that character out of the realm of, well, this is just a miniature that looks really cool, and it makes it into a living, breathing person. And for somebody who likes doing that sort of thing, and is for somebody who is interested in doing that sort of thing, it makes the army more alive. And I don't want to say makes them more likely to continue with that army necessarily, but it really does. I can see it adding a level of enjoyment to the game that they might not otherwise get. And it takes the character from this living, or from this cold plastic thing to this living, breathing representation of somebody who could, quite plausibly be an actual person in an actual universe. And that might lead to other things as well, other than, having a really cool mini with a really cool backstory sitting on the tabletop. That might lead to, maybe they write a whole short series of short stories detailing this character's exploits. Or maybe they write a novel detailing the exploits of this character and their army and that sort of thing. And, maybe it ends up staying in the realm of fan fiction. Maybe really, really good fan fiction, but fan fiction nonetheless. Or maybe they get picked up by Black Library or another large publisher or something like that. So, it definitely something that I would encourage people to do. I'm not going to require it. I really don't care if you do or not. Because again, I'm not going to be doing it, so I'm not gonna be policing it or anything like that. If I ever do get to play a game, I'm not gonna sit there and say, all right, well, what's your character's background? Give it up. Let's see. I'm not gonna do that. But again, it's something that adds a level of enjoyment, and I would be really interested to see if any of you all out there in my very small but growing audience, I've picked up a couple of subscribers in the last week or so. Be interested to see if anybody out there in my growing audience has any characters that they actually have fully fleshed out background stories for, and if you're willing to post it or link it somewhere, or maybe on a blog or something like that, maybe put it in the comment section so other people can read it and enjoy it. But yeah, no, that's all I had to say about this topic. Really, not a whole lot more that I can say without kind of going around in circles and repeating myself. But I'm going to leave this video right here for now. Again, if you liked what you heard, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Both of those things help me out a lot, and I want to see this channel grow as quickly and as far as I can. Hit that notification button, that bell, to make sure that you know when I'm posting video. I'm going to try and post 2 videos a week. I'm going to try to post one on Monday and one on Friday. Monday's video, I think, is going to be a video just like this. Where we have kind of these hobby discussions while you watch me paint from the many hours of B-roll that I've filmed with my crappy cell phone camera. And then I think Friday's video might be more of a tutorial painting video type of deal, but we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if I can maintain that pace. I feel like that's probably a reasonable pace for me to maintain here. But anyway, thanks again so much for watching. Again, hit that like button and comment down below, and I will see you all next time.